How to understand your negative self-talk and where it comes from. You have heard that the first 7 years of your life is the fundamental of any human being. The first 7 years of your childhood is the formative years that builds the child's foundation. It is a time period where kids are absorbing everything and their surroundings like sponges. This is the time where one learns vastly and quickly than any other time in their life. Now that says something. Their experiences within this time period, they learn the building blocks of their intellectual, social, emotional, physical development, and how they perceive and process the world around them based upon how they are responded to. And in that time period, our negative self-talk is also born. Our inner critic is also developed within us. That negative self-talk is then cultivated by our experiences, our surroundings, and our interactions. And if that negative self-talk is strong, we can create our personalities based upon it. A lot of the negative self-talk we have is influenced by those around us, and it's built upon what we absorb in our environments. If we, as a child, were surrounded by those who looked down upon us, or by those that anything we do was not good enough, then we would have a much harder time breaking free and changing our negative self-talk. And if a child was praised for every little thing they did constantly, then their inner critic would not be as strong as the other. We can see in that scenario two polar opposite experiences and existence, and how that can shape us in our personalities as we mature. I want you to imagine yourself as a pure child with no thoughts or worries in your mind. Or if not, imagine a child that you know that is still a pure child. Do you remember yourself then, before you were absorbing everything around you, before you were taking in what people were saying and how you were being treated and how you were responded to? As a pure child, you were just that. Pure essence, without a care in the world besides existing and experiencing. Pure action-oriented, living in the now, without much thought, without worries. But as you know, as a pure child, you are being taken care of by adults we call parents. And depending on what kind of parents we had, influences how we perceived ourselves. Some parents forget that their children are just kids who don't know better yet, and it's up to them to help them understand and learn. Depending on how they choose to go about responding and interacting with them is how they build their children for their future. And if you grew up with adults that instead of teaching you properly, they put you down for not knowing any better as a kid and punishing you. As an example, they say, "You're just a kid, what do you know?" If you're one who had these kind of negative interactions, if not, just imagine someone saying that to you as a child, and imagine how did that make you feel? Most would say, not good. And keep in mind, these kind of interactions also happen when we are matured and can still affect our negative self-talk as an adult. Those type of experiences can cultivate a strong negative self-talk, in which if we are constantly experiencing and being treated in such manner, and we stay in those environments due to our own unawareness, you will start to cultivate that type of negative self-talk, in which may influence you in every decision you make and your behaviors tremendously. Before any change or decision you make, that negative self-talk may enter and say, "You don't know what you're doing," or "You don't know better," or "Are you kidding yourself? You don't know anything about that." What we may have experienced as a kid may carry over into our adult lives through negative self-talk. And what we don't realize is that we are carrying this around as part of us, based upon what we experience and how we were responded to. And we have adopted that kind of talk for our own self-critic, the inner dialogue we have that is running the script behind the scenes. And most of the time, in situations like this, our parents didn't know better as much as we didn't. And which helps us realize how much we need to unpack, depending how bad your negative self-talk is. As a reminder, remember, although outside factors may cause damage to us, knowingly or unknowingly, understand we as individuals are always responsible for our own healing. Not only in our childhood, but those that we choose to hang around and surround can either feed more into that negative self-talk or help us heal that part of ourselves. If you choose to surround yourself with those who feed into your negative self-talk, that negative self-talk can get worse and harder to break out from if you are not aware. These include surrounding yourself with friends who always put down your ideas and your plans for change and the future because they have a limited perception of you. Surrounding yourself with such people will keep you stuck and remain within that negative self-talk if you are not aware and conscious of what's happening and going on around you. And if you have a harsh inner critic and negative self-talk, and you have become aware of your negative self-talk, and you have made the choice to surround yourself with those who are supportive and understanding, that too can be a shock to the system and feel uncomfortable at first. But those are the people you want to surround yourself with, as these people can aid you to slowly unlearn the negative self-talk you have. If you don't have access to that kind of support, here's what I want you to do if you feel inclined to do so. Write down every time you have a negative self-talk throughout your day. Do a self-reflection daily and affirm what you would like to say that is positive instead of that negative self-talk. Replace the negative with a positive. If you aren't able or permitted to write down your negative self-talk as it happens throughout your day, then what you can do is do it daily at the end of your day and reflect back upon your day and try to remember and recall any negative self-talk you had. Write them down and do the same. Replace that with a positive thing that you would rather say. Imagine what a supportive friend would say instead. Try it out for a day or a week or a month. See if that has improved your inner dialogue. I hope you like this message. Thanks for listening and receiving this message. Please take what you need and let go of the rest. If you have enjoyed this content and it resonates, please support in any way you can. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. If you're interested in working with me as a life coach, or if you need more information about my coaching services and specialties, I'd be happy to give you more information. Please email me. My email is down below, and I wish for all to find what they're seeking.